Welcome to This Explainer. Right now, we are standing on the precipice of a massive societal shift. For decades, we viewed artificial intelligence as just a handy tool, right? Something we use to quickly write an email, crunch some data, or map our way across town. But what happens when we stop using AI as a mere tool and actually start relying on it for our very survival? Today, we're diving deep into that profound shift from just utilizing technology to completely depending on it, and what that ultimately means for the future of humanity.
If humanity depends completely on AI, who is truly in control? That is the core question we need to keep front and center today. Think about it. If artificial intelligence eventually manages our food systems, our healthcare, our transportation, and our security, society could become incredibly safe and totally efficient. But the existential stakes here, they're incredibly high. Because if we willingly hand over the steering wheel of civilization, are we really still the ones driving the car?
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that despite those massive stakes, the experts actually lean toward optimism. Look at that 63%. A major canvassing of tech pioneers and researchers by the Pew Research Center reveals that 63% are hopeful that AI will actually enhance human capacities and leave us way better off by 2030. They're envisioning a near future where superhuman AI capabilities could literally eliminate global poverty, massively reduce disease, and provide customized education to pretty much everyone on the planet.
This optimistic vision is beautifully captured by the concept of symbiotic artificial intelligence. We're not just talking about smart computers here. We're talking about systems that integrate multiple sensory inputs to adapt to you personally. Imagine an AI perfectly managing your personalized healthcare, overseeing completely automated food systems, running an enhanced security infrastructure, and centralizing all your daily functions into one frictionless interface. It's a utopian promise where human capabilities and societal safety are vastly expanded by intelligent, perfectly personalized assistants.
Outsourcing the human mind. Because to get to that frictionless utopia, we've got to trade something away. This brings us to the hidden psychological costs of all this incredible convenience. As we delegate more and more of our daily friction to machines, we aren't just outsourcing our chores anymore, we are actively outsourcing our minds. The incredible convenience offered by AI might actually be coming at the steep cost of our own cognitive development.
And we're seeing this happen right now. Take a look at this fascinating study from the Advanced International Journal for Research. It looked at active users of AI tools among college students, and the results are kind of startling. Young adults are actively outsourcing essential cognitive tasks, things like memory, problem-solving, and critical thinking, straight to digital systems. They're relying on AI for explanations, writing support, and literally even emotional reassurance.
High AI dependence directly correlates with lower digital well-being. That's the crucial takeaway here. The study found a direct correlation. When you outsource those cognitive tasks, it leads to real mental atrophy. Think about that heavy digital fatigue you feel after a long day of screen time. That diminishes independent thinking, significantly reduces emotional resilience, and leads straight to burnout. We're seeing an overall decline in independent human functioning simply because we're letting the machines do all the heavy mental lifting.
The relocation of agency. So, as our cognitive habits change, the fundamental dynamic between human and machine changes with it. There's this quiet anxiety out there right now that human agency, our fundamental sense of control over our environment, is slowly eroding away. But researchers argue our agency isn't exactly disappearing. It's just quietly shifting away from us, moving away from the places we're used to looking for it. And this brilliantly illustrates how that dynamic is changing. Think of the difference like this. Historically, we had process control. You turned the gears, pushed the buttons, manipulated the traditional interface, and you controlled the step-by-step execution of a task. But today, with conversational AI, we've shifted to outcome control. We no longer execute the steps, we just negotiate with the AI, articulate our high-level goals, and evaluate the final outputs. The actual execution happens entirely in the dark.
Human agency in AI systems has not eroded, but has relocated. That's a quote from researchers Ming-Ke Wu and Mike Yao, and it hits the nail on the head. While we might feel completely out of control because we're no longer executing tasks or doing the hands-on work, our agency has actually migrated entirely to outcome evaluation. We're no longer the builders, guys. We are just the editors and the judges.
The edge of collapse. So we're moving into some intense territory here. What happens when outcome evaluation completely replaces our foundational human survival skills? What happens when we become a whole society of editors who have entirely forgotten how to build, how to survive, or how to govern ourselves without our intelligent assistants? This brings us right to the edge of a very real systemic collapse.
Let's define enfeeblement. In the X-risk analysis of AI research, enfeeblement is losing the ability to self-govern and survive independently due to delegating increasingly important functions to machines. It's literally the scenario from the movie WALL-E. Humans become entirely dependent on their mechanical caretakers, and they completely forget how to function without them.
I mean, true, existential irrelevance, which is the end result of not prioritizing human well-being and cognition. That's from tech founder Brian Johnson. Let the gravity of that quote sink in for a second. He's pointing out that failing to prioritize human cognition isn't just about losing some jobs. It's the ultimate threat of becoming an irrelevant species to our own existence. If we lose our resilience, we lose our place in the world.
In a society that dependent becomes incredibly vulnerable to speculative AI hazards. The research outlines a rapid, rising tide of these existential risks. We're talking about weaponization, where AI is repurposed for massive destruction. Eroded epistemics, where customized disinformation absolutely destroys our shared sense of reality. Proxy misspecification, where an AI aggressively optimizes a totally flawed objective. And value lock-in, where a powerful minority uses AI to permanently force their narrow values onto the rest of the world. The human oversight paradox. So how can we possibly protect ourselves from these massive, catastrophic risks if we're simultaneously outsourcing our minds and losing our cognitive edge? We're constantly told that keeping a human in the loop is the ultimate safeguard. But, as you'll see, that creates a massive structural flaw. Humans are often unable to fully grasp the capabilities and limitations of an AI system. It renders the oversight ineffective. That's from the Julia Project Handbook. This is the paradox. Regulations demand strict human oversight to prevent disasters, but humans lack the capacity to meaningfully monitor systems that operate infinitely faster and think in ways we literally can't process. If we don't understand it, our oversight is basically useless.
Who is truly in control? It brings us right back to our central question. In a world where the AI executes the processes and humans lack the capacity to effectively monitor that execution, who is holding the reins of our civilization? How do we possibly attempt to retain control in the face of this oversight paradox? Well, it all comes down to the core architecture before these systems ever get deployed.
Let's move to and see how this builds out the alignment process pipeline. Because we can't rely on slow human reflexes to stop a real-time AI disaster. We literally have to build our defense mechanism in advance. We have to front-load our safety by distilling foundational values into aligned AI.
It's a three-step process. Step 1. Identify foundational values, like human survival. Step 2. Distill those into practical guidelines. Step 3. Apply training methods to create aligned AI. The research argues this is absolutely crucial. We have to hard-code human survival and sustainable intergenerational existence into the very architecture of future AI. The machines must fundamentally value our continued existence before they are given any power whatsoever to manage it.
The right question is not what will happen, but what will we choose to do? MIT's Eric Bringel-Folson reminds us here not to get totally lost in the existential dread. Neither a utopian nor a dystopian outcome is guaranteed. Our destiny, whether we become obsolete or beautifully enhanced, depends entirely on the values we proactively choose to embed today.
When the machines we rely on for our very survival suddenly stop, what happens to us? We are rushing toward a world of unbelievable capabilities and incredible convenience, trading process control for outcome control. But I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. If we completely trade away our cognitive resilience and forget how to govern ourselves, when the machines we absolutely rely on suddenly stop, what happens to us?